Well, hello everybody.
Hello, everyone.
So, welcome. We're back home. Well, you haven't seen it yet, so I say we're back home. But we were out filming all day yesterday, weren't we, you guys? We sure were. It was so much fun and so exciting. Wow, there's two of you. Oh, I should turn this down. What am I doing? Okay, so today we're going to talk about 80s toys. But before we get to the 80s toys, Steve and I and Nikki and Roberto, we spent the day yesterday at the very first, well, filming all day, at the very first Detroit Icons episode that's going to be coming out. And soon, Roberto will put up the graphic for it. We will be going around and we will be talking to some of Detroit's biggest icons. And when I say icons, I don't mean individual person. I mean the companies that helped create Detroit, right?
Make Detroit what it is.
Absolutely. And so we were excited because, I just shot in the dark and called up, and of course they wanted to work with us. And ironically, most of the marketing directors ended up being customers of ours, so they were like, oh yeah. So I was excited about that. So yesterday we got to spend the day filming at Pewabic Tile, or Pewabic Pottery Factory. What do you think about how it went?
It was incredible.
We've never been there
Learned
before.
a lot. It was just an incredible experience. Great place.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably one of the most overlooked jewels of Detroit as far as where you can go for something to do and check out and learn. I wasn't familiar with it at all, other than their name, and it was quite interesting.
It was quite interesting. You're going to learn a lot during the. Do we need to bring this closer a little bit? Okay. So I learned a ton. Nikki?
Oh yeah, I mean, I even being a pottery collector, I thought I knew a little bit about Pewabic, and I still learned so much more. There's so many layers to it. It was informative, fun, exciting, beautiful,
And
all the things.
you also get to see Nikki do as a reporter for her first time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that she
I
got
got
to.
to do the interviewing of one of
Yeah.
our subjects, so that was really fun. I got to
Regular
talk about the
Brenda
tigers.
Starr over there.
Brenda Starr. Who's
I'm
Brenda
getting
Starr?
there.
Do I know Brenda Starr?
It was a comic book.
A comic book. So they gave us all of these books that talk about the different events and all the different type of tiles they have, and we have those here, so you can come in and pick them up.
They are absolutely free.
They are completely free. Hi, Mom. My mom's on. She's saying
Hello,
hello.
Marilyn.
And you'll be able to watch. Oh, she's on my page. That's why. But so come in and pick it up. And one of the things I do want to say about Pewabic Tile before we move on is they are a C3 501c3. They are a nonprofit. So go on their website at pewabic.org and join, because they have some great benefits and it's not expensive, and it's something that you can do to help maintain a great jewel of Detroit.
If you have people coming in from out of town and they're looking for places to go to learn about Detroit and just be part of things, it was really an incredible experience, and it's someplace I would definitely take people to in the future.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you're visiting, if you have friends or family in from town, take them to Pewabic. I mean, they're open 7 or 5 days a week, and you can spend some time there looking around. It's not just a gift shop, but they do have an incredible gift shop. But it's a museum, and it's an outside space that you can get in.
You don't need appointments. You don't need set times to get in or have a tour. Just all the way around, it was just a phenomenal experience.
So come in, get your handcrafted for your home pamphlet, booklet, and give them a try. I mean, they have some cool ones, and who knows, one of these days here soon, you might even see a Time Warp vintage Pewabic tile here at the store.
There's actually also one room of not just Pewabic
right.
art. It's Michigan artists from all over the area.
Yes.
Represented in one room as well.
Which I thought was really cool that they did that, because with them being a independent, selling their own pottery, to bring in local potters, I think it's pretty cool. I thought it was incredible. Really? So I know you probably did you throw up the Pewabic tile graphic? So you guys saw that, a few pictures, and we're going to show these again at the end. So, but we have a lot. So I know that you go past the 80s a little bit. as a child. So you didn't play with 80s toys, is what I'm saying.
No, I was the 70s, 60s, 70s.
60s, 70s. But if you had to pick, because you do buy a lot of 80s toys and you do, you know, research them, and we do sell them. Do you have a favorite?
Not really.
No.
Just whatever's most profitable.
Well, that's always the case.
But I mean, some of them are really. Now that I've gotten to know them a little bit, I mean, I remember being at 7-Eleven by 13 and Shaner in 1989, and a buddy of mine was playing. I think it was a TMNT video game or something. And I remember just then, a Teenage Mutant Ninja, what? Turtles? It just, the whole concept didn't make sense to this 70s kid. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, I've seen the movies, you know, and I've enjoyed them. But the toys that I grew up with in the 70s were a completely different type of toy, it seems, in terms of the origins and origin stories.
This was 70s and 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So you played with one of these, probably?
Yeah, but an 8-ball had a different...
oh, nush.
That was a completely different meaning. It was magic.
I knew exactly what he was talking about back then. That is hilarious. I love it. So, but I would have to choose. Okay, so I was born in 70, so the 80s, 82, I was 12, 83, I was 13, 84, I was 14. So as a lot of the 80s toys came into style, I was growing out of them. But I do remember them quite frequently. And if I had to say what was one of my favorites, I would say Fraggle Rock. Why can't I say that all of a sudden? Fraggle Rock is some of my favorite. And I think it's more nostalgic driven than it is. I actually played with them because I just remember them coming on HBO and sitting there and having I would get the toys with it and everything, but I don't remember ever playing with them, but I do remember loving the show. I did Nintendo 64.
When I was a kid in the 70s, I mean, you had your Mike Powers, you had Steve Austin, $6 Million Man, Wonder Woman. I mean, you had all these shows, but then you get into the 80s toys and they got food fighters where hamburgers and French fries come alive and they're characters. I mean, it's just...
Toys did get weird in the 80s.
Yeah.
They got even weirder in the 90s, I think. But 80s was like peak oddball toys.
It would almost seem. Some of the backstories on them is just... I mean, I want some of what they were doing.
No kidding, right? You know, I found, and what we're going to do is you're going to see us stand up in a few minutes and walk back there because I'm going to actually interview Nikki, because Nikki is her knowledge of 80s toys, and you're actually a little younger than what the 80s, wouldn't you say?
I'm not going to specify.
You're actually younger. You're not older.
Right.
You're younger.
And I grew up with all of these toys.
Yes, you grew up with them, but you didn't play with them when they first came out because you were just an infant.
Yes, but my grandpa
for the most
was already
part
a toy collector, so he was like ahead of the game with getting things for me before I was ready to play with them.
Well,
I was very lucky.
You weren't necessarily drawn to the girly frou-frou toys.
Why don't we walk over there?
Yeah.
You seem to be maybe a little bit of a tomboy.
Yes.
What you liked as far as toys?
Yeah.
Come on back there, Steve. Be with us.
Gee, may I?
Yes. Okay, so are we ready?
You're good.
We're on the right camera?
You're good.
Very good. So, okay. Sorry as I share this to every group I'm in who will kick me out of most of them for doing that. Look, Pawabik is emailing me right now. Okay, so before we get into this is Ghostbusters, right? And before we get into that, I have a story to tell you about Ghostbusters. Why, do you want to? Yes, I do want you to go around front because you can point at them. And then you come over here. Don't you love this? I'm telling everybody where to be. Would you like your phone?
No.
Okay.
I just leave it there.
All right. So this is Ghostbusters here. And you worked at the theater during the first release of the first one, did you? Or
I worked in the theaters
in the 80s? Was it a popular movie? It
was a smash hit.
It was a smash hit. So, I mean, when we do 70s toys, he has a great story about Donnie and Marie, about Donnie and Marie. So even though they do run into the 80s. So one day I was by myself and Ghostbusters 3 had come out. And I thought, I'm going to go see Ghostbusters 3. Well, I was a little down that day, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to watch movies all afternoon. I literally sat through Ghostbusters 1, 2, and 3. I had seen 1 and 2, but 6 hours I spent in that theater watching all 3 Ghostbusters. Did you like the latest one?
I did.
Frozen.
I did. I think they did a good job. They're starting to do a good job of
Him?
revamping and like
Mhm.
not totally just rehashing, but they're doing the nods back to like the same thing with Jurassic World when they came out with that.
Yep.
It had its little snippets of similarities between the first one and like nods to it, but it was also very self-aware that it was like the updated new version and how do we tie in the retro parts of it.
Right. So before we get started on talking about the toys, I want to be specific. Not everything here is going to be for sale here at the store. I asked Nikki because Nikki is a huge toy collector, and that's one of the reasons we love having her work here because of her knowledge with toys. Matter of fact, I think we just loaded up how many tubs of Barbie stuff into your car?
My truck is bursting at the seams with Barbie stuff
that she's going to be going through.
So that will be hitting the shelves as soon as I can get through it as well.
So, I asked her to bring in some of her more rare things so that we can talk about the rarity of toys because we do get a lot of these toys. They just go quick.
Yes.
Don't agree?
Yes, they do.
And we do. We price them to sell. So, not everything here is going to be for sale, but a lot of it will be.
Yes.
And a lot of this is also ours. Some of this is also ours that's available right now.
We have a good mix of things currently in store, coming soon, things that are just an example, because the 3 of us got together, when you think 80s toys, what are the most iconic? And we tried to get a good spread of boy toys, girl toys, even though that's not a thing. Like Steve said, I was probably playing with the Ghostbusters and the Turtles more than anything else. But I also had He-Man, She-Ra, ponies, a little bit of Barbie. So
one of the things I learned,
a spoiled child.
I was an only child. What do you expect? I had all the toys.
Yes, and you met her mother on one of our shows. So, She-Ra, one thing I learned, and I learned this watching a show called The Toys That Made Us. I'm sure most of us have watched that.
So good.
So, is it She-Ra and He-Man are brother and sister?
Yes.
And that's actually being depicted in the new movie that's coming out. I had read. And they were separated at birth.
Yes.
And so therefore there went She-Ra and there went He-Man. So I found that fascinating. And when we get She-Ra product, it flies out the door because it's harder to find than He-Man.
Yes, I brought the castle,
which is rare for.
And we have some of the figures here, but I'm in. So the other thing, if you're a collector, get in the Facebook groups that are to your specific toys, because I just started unearthing all my childhood toys. That's kind of why it's fresh in our conversation now, and I'm kind of deciding what to part with and what to keep in my collection and what's going to stay out on display and things. My very tolerant boyfriend is okay with my obscenely large My Little Pony collection still staying relevant and probably going in the bookshelves in my craft room at his house. So, but She-Ra, I was just told by the collectors in that group, I kind of snapped a few pictures when I was sitting on the living room floor and I said, I just found all these and I'm going through it. And they said, She-Ra is one of the things that is getting harder and harder to find every year because it was not as mass produced. They were more delicate. Girl toys that had a partnership with Boy Toys got stolen by the brothers and beat up upon.
Oh, it isn't just the Boy Toys that had sisters.
Yeah, so the boys were rough with their toys, but they also had an easier time letting go of them, I think. So parents, there's a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in circulation. There's a lot of He-Man in circulation. There's G.I. Joes. She-Ra is getting harder to find in good condition every year. So that's like on the uprise right now.
So a friend of mine, her nephew was a big She-Ra fan. And for his 18th birthday, she wanted to get him something that was signed by the artist of She-Ra, right? Or the artist of the posters and stuff like that.
The animation cells.
I actually found that person and sent it to him, and they actually signed it and gave it to him.
That's awesome.
and gave it to him. So that still happens. So you can still find that to happen.
Yeah.
So if you get a Shira item and you want it, look it up because they
Yeah.
do sign them.
Well, in Comic Cons too, you get voice actors a lot that
Mhm.
people you might not know their face, but they have voice acted a lot of your favorite toys, commercials, characters, TV
Right.
shows. So X-Men toys, people will still go get. X-97 is big now. We'll probably do another episode on 90s toys. But they'll go get the figures signed by the people that voice them.
Let's talk about the ponies since they're here. Can we see the ponies over here in the corner? Okay, so you have three. Tell us about the ponies and then we're going to go through and show you the different generations of ponies.
Yeah, we can touch on
as
that.
well as the rarity. You have one that's rare.
Yeah.
And then some that are newer.
Yes.
Okay, so what do we have here? And then I'm going to tell the story about when we bought the big lot of and what we found you doing in the back room here.
So ponies, they're an 80s toy like many of these others that are still cycling through. There's a new cartoon coming back out again. Yes.
Oh.
Friendship is Magic is being revamped into. So there's like 5 generations of My Little Ponies now.
You need to get back behind the mic.
I'm gonna bring it over here.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
There's like 5 generations of My Little Ponies at this point. There's the originals, Generation 1 from the 80s. I think they started in 84. So I have a few of those that I brought, originals. And then the Generation 2s I don't have. They were late 80s, early 90s, and they don't look hardly anything like the rest of them. They have their own kind of cult following, but most people that like the Generation 1s don't necessarily like the 2s, or, everybody's got their favorites and their niches. Then early 2000s was Generation 3s. A lot of the same character ponies, but they changed their hair color or their look or their voice. And then all the way up to, I think it's like 4.5 now, and I still don't even know all the details of the current new ones, but I'm learning. And
sorry, I'm over here doing hashtags, talking to him while you're talking. How rude! How rude of me.
Looking at the toys. And then, speaking of 80s toys having a current drive still, they're doing anniversary editions. So these are exact replicas of the 80s toys. They did 35th anniversary, 35th. Now they're doing 40th coming up soon with more and more ponies.
If we wanted to take those.
So some of these guys are nice in between. If you want to collect the vintage ones but can't find them, or you just want a few that you knew you had as a kid, you get the brand new shiny ones. And I think they made these scented.
So I don't think it's a bad thing when you have vintage ponies from the 80s. And I heard this thing because who makes ponies? Hasbro. I heard that they're going to become part of the movie that Hasbro has done. That they're going to do a movie, like an actual full movie on them.
Yeah,
I heard that too.
And you can tell the ages of them by the bottom of their feet. So you can tell if it's actually an 80s one or the new. If they're not.
Did you show the 80s?
Is
I did.
Okay.
Or is it something else?
See, I should be paying attention.
Just the year. It'll say the year. Usually Hong Kong, 84, and Hasbro on the bottom of the feet of the original ones. And then let's see what the new ones say. They have a My Little Pony logo and 2007 Hasbro on this one.
Push it to the camera. Hold on.
You had mentioned something. Can I just bring something
up?
Yes. Was a big theme, at that time was My Little Pony. You mentioned scented.
Yes.
And that got so big that He-Man guys started becoming scented.
Yes.
Like with the skunk guy.
With the skunk guy. It's in there.
Yeah.
It's actually in there.
Yeah, there's Stinkor that I'm sure all parents absolutely adored having in the house because they still smell.
Moss Man is in there.
Strawberry Shortcake was another big girl's toy at the time.
I have
food scented.
Strawberry Shortcake.
Yep. We have board games that coincide with a lot of these toys. Care Bears. So
Hustler.
Other girl toys that I had and had a lot of interest in.
So the scented toys are the 80s version of Scratch and Sniff.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yes.
They are. If you don't know what that is, Google it, but make sure you be careful.
The first Sniff and Scratch was Hustler magazine.
It was, yes, Hustler magazine. It was. So
you learned something today.
Yes, thank you.
So when we Steve walked in one day with a whole bushel almost of my Little Pony, And so, and it had all the pieces and all the little pets, because each of these have little pets that go with them,
They
don't
have
they?
a comb and
And
a
brushes,
ribbon that goes with each specific
Didn't one have a
one.
little tiny
They have little toys that go with
toys?
them.
That's what it
Babies,
was.
They have, you know,
The
their baby
babies.
toys.
Yeah.
So yes, you can spend hours putting
And
your toys with their parts.
so she takes them in the back. She's like, I'll go wash them up. And I said, okay. So Steve and I were working. I don't know, what was it? 4 hours later. 4 hours later, we're like, what's Nikki doing? So we go in the back, and she's literally got them laid out, and it is a hair salon in there. She's combing the hair. She's hair drying.
Yeah.
I loved it because each one of those ponies, you took such great care of them. And when they first came in, they were filthy.
They are, yeah, and I was gonna say, a lot of people, there are sites on how to like officially restore toys. I know how to clean their hair. Good old Dawn dish soap, honestly, will do wonders on most 80s toys, not hurt the finish, help with any surface grime and stuff. But I mean, when you have people that wrote the name of their name on the bottom of their pony's feet, or drew makeup on their Ken dolls, and there are ways to use UV light. People use.
Well, I got to tell you.
How are you ever going to make Kate McKinnon normal again?
From the Barbie movie.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I mean,
you don't want her normal.
You can fix up your toys pretty well. You can do mild restoration on them on your own.
I got to tell you, you turn those a basket full of dirty. The hair was all tangled. Everything. I mean, so this is why Nikki is here, because she takes care of the toys and the stuff like. That's why it's important for us to make sure that when we get toys, and you will see baskets of stuff, 80s toys, baskets of trolls.
Condition is a big part of the
Value.
collectability, the value.
Ask
still.
if you have a question.
Yeah.
Is there ever a point in any of these toys where it's better to not try to restore it, or just leave it in its original condition?
Absolutely.
Yes, like a Dawn doll. If their ears are green, they're done.
Dawn dolls get the green
or the green in the here.
Yeah.
I know that, and we'll get to the turtles in a minute because they interchange bodies. But Barbies can sometimes get the green on them.
Their joints can go whatever mechanism they used for like bending joints, or GI Joes. A lot of times will get loose legs, and that factors in. So Google is your friend a lot of times with, you know, I haven't tackled any sun fading of getting marks off the ponies yet, but I can definitely redo their hair and clean them. And but like some of the GI Joes I've seen, or the Ghostbusters, they'll get little mold spots on them. That have to be cleaned.
They have to be cleaned. Those are still
cracks in the torsos too.
That when they start to dry rot is when when you're done with them pretty much. And I know that some people, they'll pop the heads off and save them if they're in good condition, because you might find a body that's great with a bad head.
Yeah, you can mix and match pieces. You can Frankenstein a good piece back together.
So My Little Ponies, we are working on trying to, as there is a convention called Bronies, BRONIES. And that is a bunch of men who like My Little Pony, and they're actually their dads, their husbands, they're everybody, and it's hilarious. So we're hoping that one of the conferences come here so that we can actually do a spot from it, and you know, so you guys can see that actually exists.
Yeah, we didn't have enough time to plan. There is a Michigan Pony Convention.
It's
this
just
weekend.
This
in
weekend,
Grand Rapids, so it's a little far for us.
And that's a full pony.
That's all. Yeah, all.
I'm sure there'll be bronies there.
There's vendors, collectors, trading, cosplaying.
I'm surprised you're not going there.
I wanted to, but I'm already out of town plans. But I think next year we may have to do an on-site.
So as you can tell, would it be safe to say that one of your favorite toys from the 80s is My Little Pony?
Yes, I think they're the winner. As I go through and decide like what I'm still attached to and what I enjoyed, but I'm ready to pass on to other toy collectors. I loved my Turtles and my Ghostbusters very, very much, but the ponies still, like, even to this day, I'm finding ones that I didn't have as a child that I'm justifying adding to the collection.
I am so glad you said that.
Fun hunting them down.
I am so glad you said that, because that is one of the reasons. Why do you think 80s toys are so popular right now? And I mean, between the Ninja Turtles, the He-Mans,
Transformers, Micro Machines,
Legos. Why do you think they're so popular with adult boys?
because my age bracket finally has adult money to buy the toys.
Thank you.
That they wanted or destroyed, and we can buy back our childhood
Yes.
right now.
Okay, so
because the world is a mess and toys are fun.
Yes. So I'm gonna say Nikki is a standout when it comes to women who like to buy back their toys. Only because we get more boys in here.
Yeah.
And more guys in here. And I say boys, and I mean boys that are in their 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
Because it happens when we're kids. There are more girls that take care of their toys than there are boys that do. Usually that when the girls' toys are destroyed, it's the boys that did.
Yes.
So, and then we take our toys and we trade them, we bury them, we burn them, we beat them, we do everything like that.
Sid from Toy Story.
Right.
Yes.
And then our parents won't rebuy them for us because we destroyed them.
Yes.
So when we get older, we want to buy back our youth.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but the funny thing is your 1980s player, like my age in the 50s, bought them back at your age or bought them back in the 20s.
Yep.
But then destroyed them again.
Yeah.
And so in their 40s, they're buying them back again because boys don't grow up and we just keep rebuying the toys that we destroy.
Yep.
You kept everything.
I did. And that was
hence the girl kept everything.
Absolutely. And that was passed down from my grandfather, was a toy collector, but he collected antique tin cars and wind-up toys. So we're talking,
which is in this case that you can't see.
We do have some here of the same type that he collected. So he collected metal and tin toys.
Right.
A lot were battery operated, a lot were wind-up, but he would very carefully, he was very picky about the ones he bought. He would check the battery case and make sure that there was no corrosion. But he taught me to take care of toys because of his collection. And even as a little kid, I wasn't messing with his toys. I wasn't, crashing the cars together.
Right.
And he started buying a lot of these, like, I'm an early 80s kid, and My Little Ponies came out in 84. So I would have been a baby.
Yeah, you would have been.
But he was already buying me the popular toys of the time because he had a knack for it. He had an eye for it. He knew what was going to be popular. So I was getting toys probably a year or two before I was ready to play with them. And then I was already kind of conditioned to take very good care of my toys.
I'll use this 70s as a pointer. The 70s. This is a kite. Okay, so you've got the My Little Ponies. You have a rare one here. Did you show that one?
I do. So we were going to talk about checking your collections if you are looking to sell or your parents are saying get the stuff out of.
It's got a tramp stamp.
They all have tramp
stamps. They all have tramp stamps.
They're called cutie marks, and it's the little figure.
Okay, cutie mark, tramp stamp.
This is a very rare one, apparently, that I did not have as a child, and I found out, in my 20s when I kind of revisited my pony collection.
That's a unicorn too.
Yes, she's a unicorn. She's got the twinkle eyes. There's all these variations in every toy line. They would come out with. The first year it was plain ponies, and the second year it was Pegasus.
What are those parrots on her hips?
Yeah. So she's called Mimic. And,
so what would something like that be worth, do you think?
She tends to still fetch anywhere between $200 and $500.
Okay.
For one.
Just like that, not in the box.
Just like this.
Okay,
Mine's
so
in decent
if
shape,
she was in the box with her pieces, double that.
I can't imagine.
Probably double that, right?
Yes, probably $12-ish $100.
You want to be careful. You want to really take your time and be diligent. Because, and I do want to say we do not do appraisals here, so don't be knocking on the door tomorrow morning wanting to know what your ponies are.
Like I said, Google is your friend. Google image, but we have to do the research as well when people want to just bring in their whole collection. We have a lot of parents that are cleaning out their attics and saying, "My kids don't want these anymore,"
or they don't even ask.
Or
I told you to come get them 2 years ago. Now they're gone.
We're more than happy to rescue
How
them
many
and
times
sell them to our customers.
So here we have, so you got all those. And then here we have Shira's Castle. How rare is that? Because I've never seen it.
Not particularly.
No.
I mean, again, the key is having the doors still attached, the furniture that goes inside, the hinges that close on the side. It's all in the little details.
So you could have a Shira Castle. You can have the He-Man Castle.
Yep.
And then Castle Grayskull.
Yep, that's a big one.
Castle Grayskull is the
He-Man.
He-Man, but what's the villain?
Oh, Skeletor.
Skeletors.
And his was Snake Mountain.
Snake Mountain. We've had both of those. We've had both of those here.
And they go fast.
They go real fast. This we've never had. I've never even seen it. Have you seen that? The Shira Castle?
I remember it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vaguely. I didn't have that.
No,
I remember
but
Snake Mountain. Also remember had the microphone.
yes.
Yes. You
Yep.
can talk into it. Yeah.
You know, this also is part of that group.
Yep. Yeah, we
So
have
is
He-Man's
this.
horse.
And I think we have a few He-Man characters in there. But so He-Man's good, and they're finally doing the movie, I heard.
Yep.
Yeah,
they just cast the live action again, I think.
yeah,
That's
and
gonna have another
I'm not happy with
resurgence
who
from
they
the movie.
cast, but that's not me.
But it'll make
That's,
it'll make the toys more popular.
That 1987 one was awful.
It was.
It's terrible.
We actually just watched it again too.
Yeah, that was
no
but
good.
fun. It was fun.
I mean, no, it wasn't even fun. It was. So then we have, what are these here?
Those are She-Ra dolls.
Oh, I didn't even see those.
They're fancy fashion outfits. You can get.
She-Ra dolls.
Yep.
Can you see them?
No. Can we show the camera? Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we
these
have
are She-Ra
We have a
dolls.
few She-Ra in store.
Yeah. And then, okay, cool. So here we have Care Bears, which is very popular.
Yes.
And then I have some Care Bear restaurant glasses
Yeah.
down there, juice glasses, the Care Bear. Now, the Care Bear stuff is very popular. We get the bears once in a while. This is a holder, right?
Yeah, that's just the case for the
It's
little.
the case, but look,
the
it's
action
got
figure size and the PVC. It still says Toys R Us price tag on this.
You know what? I
here.
love that. Toys
Isn't
R
that
Us. Look
cool?
at this. I was going to sing something, and it
See
was
what
not the Toys R Us one. It was, but it wasn't Toys R Us. Anyway, so we've got Care Bears here, which is pretty cool. So tell me, do you collect Care Bears, or did you just happen to have
I
this
do.
because you were like,
I think
"Ooh."
Care Bears are a little bit pony adjacent. I feel like them and Moon Dreamers are.
Well,
the ones
I
that
think
kinda
if they're
all
going to
go
do
together,
if Hasbro's going to do a movie of these, they should be riding them.
right? That would be very.
Wouldn't that be
cute.
cool? But I think it's actually Transformers that are going to be part of that.
That's gonna be wild.
That was another thing, huge thing too, for like My Little Pony or He-Man. Or remember, like if you would go to Kmart or Woolworth or whatever, that they would have like the off-brand generic.
Yes.
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 Action figures.
Yes, and we do actually have something here that is off-brand generic.
Yeah. This is a faux Voltron slash
I know, Mars. Isn't that cool? The house.
pencil case. It's really cool.
Unfortunately, the house is already spoken for. So
yes, I brought it in for display for our
yep.
set today, and my
But
friend
it's already
Craig
gone.
has already claimed my Ghostbusters
Yep.
collection. Don't worry, it's here on loan.
So and then you have Barbie here, and I forgot to grab the Barbie 80s that we have. We don't buy 80s Barbies.
Oh, really?
We buy 1980 and older.
Yeah.
Because
Like, that's a very 80s
yeah.
Barbie case, Barbie and the Rockers.
but this is
and
different because
clothes,
it's kind of
yeah.
cool looking.
Yeah.
And when I say we don't buy the Barbies from the 80s, the special edition ones. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like the ones that they made 10 billion of
Or
them.
the Million Christmas ones, unfortunately, also did not really retain their
Because
value.
if you are a toy aficionado, anything like that, you do know that from the transition of the 70s to the 80s is when we started getting mass production.
Yes.
So unfortunately, the Barbie in the 80s was mass produced so significantly
So much.
that a lot of the specialty Barbies, like the Christmas Barbie
Yeah,
1985,
they're not as rare as
nowhere near as rare
they
as
made it out
even
to
in the
be.
box.
Yeah. The clothes.
Yeah,
again,
they still
are the
can
little
be.
teeny pieces that
Yeah.
get lost easier. Sometimes fetch more than the dolls now. Like a pair of shoes could be hard.
Mars wants to see that horse. What horse? This horse?
Barbie horse, He-Man horse.
He-Man horse? Because the house, if you accidentally typed in house and it checked your spelling, it's already taken. So, because you know it does that. You type in horse and you type in
yeah, I
house and
know.
it'll change it to horse. What do
As
we have
these-
down? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as the ones that I'm bringing in for inventory for the store, as they come in, we will probably be posting like, "This is here now," and you know,
Right.
first come first serve
Yep.
kind of thing. They are gonna hit the
So
floor and
a
go
lot of
quickly.
these will, but they're not for a week or so.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna start getting
Yeah.
it going, but we will give you heads up when things are gonna be able to be.
So
purchased.
tell me about this and tell me what it's from.
Barbie.
Oh, this is a Barbie horse?
Yeah, what is the phrase that bitch had everything?
She did, apparently, and a nice little
That's a Barbie
stallion.
horse.
You know what? I'm surprised she didn't have 3 or 4 different kinds.
There's a dog and there's a
Mhm.
farm. Barbie literally.
What are
had
these?
Pound puppies.
I don't know what that
big
is.
One, big one.
Definitely.
Pound puppies?
You don't know
They
pound
were big.
puppies?
No.
Oh my god, huge.
They
in
look
the
like a
80s.
beanie baggie, and I want to
There
run.
was little ones, big ones. They were kind of like popples and oh my goodness, what else? Cabbage Patch Kids. Those I didn't get into,
So-
but they were huge.
The 80s is a blur to me because I started being a bad not
You
only
are
a
not
bad
teenager
child,
already, yeah.
but a bad school person and stuff because I was hanging out with people and doing things I shouldn't have been doing instead of playing with these. That was me. I was in Southern California.
I'm gonna make you wear a Dare t-shirt.
Oh, trust me, my brain was on in that fry pan a few times. So, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, the eggs frying. This is your brain on drugs.
Yes.
So, so you know what? I'm so excited that you brought all these in. So let's start here. We got trolls.
Yep, and we have loads of trolls here in the store. A whole troll collection. Every hair color you can think of, every outfit.
Trolls were big in the 80s. They still
very-
make trolls today. I even have here.
I think they started in the 70s too.
They did start in the
really
70s.
Kind of
Yeah.
hit their stride in the 80s. So
the treasure trolls cover box. So we're big on toys, and 80s toys are because even the fathers they play with their 80 toys with their kids.
Yes, and that's
this one over here.
I know, and the only thing taking the sting away from getting rid of a lot of my collection right now.
Oh, the He-Man
is,
horse, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, He-Man.
Well, they're because we had multiple horses. I wasn't sure which one.
So
yes, that horse is available.
In the store and available.
Yep,
There's
and then
other He-Man vehicles.
I think we have
a bit of accessories.
Mars. I think we have a couple of those horses.
Yeah,
actually.
He's in nice shape too. He's still got his stickers.
Yeah. He actually called it.
But yes, a lot of my friends, like I said,
the Strider.
Ghostbusters is that's
yeah.
it. Ghostbusters is spoken for, but it's going to my friend who is a toy collector, an 80s baby.
But this is not. This is ours.
To share with.
So tell me, what about Ghostbusters makes everything so fantastic? I think it's just the fact that it's the other world.
It was the cartoon was great and funny. And,
Rick Moranis.
Then the movie had very popular comedian actors at the time play the characters from the cartoon that we knew. So like it hit the kids with the toys and the cartoon. It hit the adults with the a little bit adult humor, and the special effects in the first Ghostbusters movie were a little ahead of their time.
There was, and Annie Potts was in it.
Yes.
That made it enough as it is for me.
I don't know. Ghostbusters was just one of the highlights.
Okay, so
80s toys.
This is 80s.
Yep.
Is this from the first movie?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the first movie, Ghostbusters.
The first run of toys.
What else do you have? Are any of these are all Ghostbusters up here too?
Yep.
And then you have the stuff that's in. This all goes inside, I'm assuming. Yeah. So, did it actually shoot gel?
Yes, they came with cans of slime.
Did it come with cans of slime?
In fact, this skeleton would like capture a figure, and you could coat them with.
Could you actually hold it in there? Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the containment.
We've had this several times.
Lots of Ghostbusters toys you will find still, partially slimed.
And then we have the Ghostbusters car, which is the model. This one is the model, and this one is here in the store.
Yep, that one's here.
So, which is pretty cool. And you can go to. I wonder if I can get the Ghostbusters car. They were at the parade. Yeah. They were at the parade.
There's a couple local Ghostbusters teams that go to.
So tell me, so Ghostbusters here, and we look for Ghostbusters all the time. Yeah. So keep checking if you're interested in Ghostbusters. Besides what you see here, just keep asking us because we look for Ghostbusters stuff all the time. But you got to remember, we are not here at Time Warp. We are not a vendor-driven company.
Right. We have one major buyer and one location. Steve knows what to look for. He definitely he knows all the key toys to pick up and grab.
Yeah.
And he may not know which one it is and what the pony's name is or which version of the turtle it is, but that's where I come in. But he knows to snag it.
Also in the store, when you come in, like Mars and whoever else, we've got like this horse out on the Strider out on the floor. And you're going to say, oh, it's missing its tail. It's missing its this, that. No, read on it.
Yeah.
And it states right here, it says, with hat and tail behind the counter. Oh, we take these pieces off and we hold them. And we hold them behind the counter so that they don't disappear. Now, we will also, if for some reason it is, let's say we just had this and it was missing the tail and it was missing the rest of it, we would put, Steve always puts as is AI on it. Yeah. So that, and we will tell you what's missing. And I mean, if you're aficionado, you'll know off the top. But it will be priced accordingly.
It's priced accordingly and marked accordingly. So if we know stuff is missing, it's missing, but people still like it, or they might have the parts at home.
Right. Like with the turtles, we like at the bottom. Did you pull these out of this one?
They came from there.
Okay.
I like that because there's a price point for everybody.
There is.
You can still buy it in the box if you want. You can buy one that's a little
Yep.
beat up.
Yep.
Yep.
You know, it's all-
Every
it could be-
level of
Yep. And what people have to understand is, like, if I have this, if we have this on the floor, Steve bought this and we have it on the floor and it's missing all the loose pieces, right? And it's marked at, like, let's say $10 or $5. The reason we do that, not mark it, but the reason we buy it, if I'm correct, the reason you buy it is because you could have, the person who's buying it could have all those pieces at home and missing this.
Yeah.
It's,
Or if
yeah.
Dad, who's my age, has his collection and his are all pretty pristine and in a showcase, but his kids are starting to want to play with them.
That's what you do.
Play version.
Yep, you get the
So
play version
you have
of
the
it.
ones that can be hands-on. You can
Well,
always
a lot
buy
of-
backups.
A lot of people will buy one in poor condition to start out their collection,
Yep,
and then as time
Yeah.
goes on, they will trade
replace
up.
it.
I
Trade
do that,
up.
I do that with my ponies. I have a few that
Yep.
were a little bit more beat up from my childhood, and if I found one that's in a little bit better shape, then that's where you meet other collectors and you trade and you sell and pass on. And
So we do that a lot with the GI Joe. A lot of the GI Joe from the 1960s as well as the 1980s. The vehicles are huge
yes,
or bigger,
Yeah.
so we will take all the pieces off of it. We've got a basket in the back room that has numbered bags in it with everything in it, and it's got all the pieces in it, because the last thing, and it's not a matter of theft all the time, it's a matter of a lot of little pieces that could just fall off and get.
Yeah, you can pick up some of these toys and move them, and
What
if
were
you
you gonna-
lose bits and pieces throughout the store, then it,
Right.
it would be hard to find.
And pre-choking hazard.
Yeah.
Yes.
What were you gonna say? Oh, okay. So, but you know, don't look at a toy and go, "Oh, it's broken. I can't believe they're doing this," because we actually had somebody do that. They left us a negative saying, "Oh, all the toys were missing pieces,"
They didn't ask.
but they didn't talk
are
to us, and we
complete.
have a sign over there that says that, you know, pieces are behind the counter and stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is if we leave them on, they fall off, they break, they get moved around.
More often than not, they end up in pockets.
They do end up in pockets. And, you know, because I have this thing where people are better than they should be, which I need to stop, because
Well, working
that's not always
retail
the
will-
case.
Well, the thing
Change
of it
that.
is a lot of these little pieces, little guns, little antennas, little pieces that pop on and off of things with a little tab, squeezing a little tab pops it off. You know, those tend to be the more expensive. I mean, a little tab or a little accessory for a larger piece can actually be worth more than the larger piece. So in their
Mhm.
minds, they're rationalizing it by, well, I need it, I'm just going to take it. And we have a lot of that here.
Yeah, we do.
Well,
Some
the
people,
other thing is,
yeah.
some of the pieces, like he mentioned, little tabs.
Mhm.
You know, these guys are in the display case. Because
In that one, yeah.
Even just taking his belt on and off and on and off and
Mhm.
on and off, you did that a ton of times as a kid. But
You can break
these have
it.
sat and aged. You don't want the
see
Velcro
that
to wear.
from
You don't want the pieces to start
The
breaking.
plastic gets brittle.
Yeah. So the less you take apart and put together some 80s toys is going to be a part of their condition.
So who is a Ninja Turtle fan? I want to see hearts pop up. Who's a Ninja Turtle fan? Ninja Turtle, I want to see hearts. Okay, so I'm going to show you on the bottom of the foot. This one is different because the turtles that are in there will not have accessories. They will be as they are. Okay, and so we use a little thing and we put the tag on it. But the turtles that are in this case that are behind me, they will have a sticker on the bottom that will have a corresponding number with them. And then in the same case inside of a basket are all of the accessories that we had with the piece, that with the corresponding number of what's on the foot. So that way they don't disappear and we have them all.
It's also a matter of displayability, because if we had every figure in there and then a Ziploc baggie behind them or under them with all of their bits and pieces, it would get a
Right.
little crowded. We want you to see the figure, and then all their little parts are available, but we can't kind of display them all.
So what do we have here? We have some Ninja Turtle stuff.
Turtles,
And we have, can you name them?
Raphael. of
Are they
course.
all Raphael?
This is Donatello.
Okay, there it is. I can't see what's over there.
Michael Jackson.
That's
Okay.
Michael
We're gonna move
Jackson,
to that
not
in a moment.
Michelangelo.
So we have got a ton of turtles, including what's her name?
April.
April in there, and turtles in
We have a
different
lot of good
formats.
villains and side characters.
And I think we even have more in the back, don't
we
we?
have a Splinter with his robe and his cane.
No.
We've got some. There's plenty
Yeah,
of stuff in here.
there's a lot of
In
good
fact,
turtles.
The last couple weeks in the morning when I get here on Tuesdays, I also have been doing a
Yep.
live of our different departments.
Yep.
Next Tuesday morning, I will do a slower walkthrough of our toy department. In case you haven't been in a while, in case you haven't been in at all yet,
Mhm.
I'm going to give us a little bit closer panning look at everything that's here.
And as you can see behind us, there's a bunch of 80s, 90s, all different toys here. These are 80s, 70s.
70.
These are 70s, and then we have 80s down here. We've got all of the 90s restaurant
Disney.
stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, we've got it all sorts.
690s.
Yes.
I'm thinking about those real smalls right now. So now I'm thinking about Smurfs,
Yeah.
California raisins.
Yep, we have those.
Those are PVC
We could
figures.
probably do a
PVC
dozen episodes
figures.
on toys.
We have a whole bunch of California raisins. I have the board, what is that? Is that the
We have a board
color
game.
form?
We
Yeah.
have
We-
coloring books.
The color form
Yep.
and these. And then we have their sister. I call it their sister.
I've never heard of these.
And this is the lips from the 80s. The lips from the 80s. So we have a bunch of different toys. Tang. It might be Tang. But California raisins.
Yeah.
Ah,
Well, and just like we talked about, we touched on with the Care Bears that we have glasses. Any of these toys, if they came from a cartoon or a comic book first, or even just the toy line, I believe He-Man might have been toy line first and then cartoon.
it was.
So, and then they started to
Mhm.
cross merchandise like crazy. This strawberry shortcake is a lunch tray.
Yeah.
There's lunch boxes.
Yeah.
There's clothing. There's
Board games.
bed sheets. So they
Color
really
form.
capitalized in the 80s of if they could slap a Care Bear on it.
Well, I think the Care Bears was originally American Greetings. They were cards.
Yes, they
Yep.
were a
Greeting
Hallmark
cards.
American greeting
Yep.
character on cute greeting cards.
Another
And
thing
stickers.
you guys have here is really cool. You see them once in a while is like the He-Man or Care Bear strawberry is the paper plates for birthday
Yeah,
parties.
we
and
actually have them all
cups
right
and,
down there.
Yeah, those
We
are
have
great.
all of the Barbie, the Care Bear, the everything.
I know I had-
Wrestling figures, wrestling
Yeah.
world, wrestling 80s. The wrestling
Yeah.
is down there, but I forgot what I was saying.
I know I had Valentines, like back in grade school when you made the cardboard box on your
Mhm.
desk and you gave the Valentines to all your classmates. I know I had ponies, turtles.
Oh, I'm sure you
Oh,
did.
yeah.
Let's talk about him.
I had to bring him because not only is he 80s toys, because they made a doll, he's 80s music, he's 80s merchandising icon,
He's
Pepsi.
80s.
He was big in
Mhm.
the 80s.
Well, of course he's 80s.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not even going to say it.
So we have Michael Jackson.
I was going to say.
They made a Barbie out of almost anybody, real celebrity as well too. So we have a Michael Jackson doll. He has
The right
extra
color.
outfits.
You had
Um,
three. You could buy three different ones.
You had him, didn't
There
you?
was
I
there
know.
was
You had all
the
of 'em.
Beat It outfit, I
Uh-huh.
think the Bad outfit, and then this one with the iconic glove, microphone, like very cool 80s.
Those are
toy.
cool. So this is not going to be available here, though.
Yes, he will.
Oh, he will.
Yeah, he'll be
Is this the
here.
only one you have?
I have him, but I have another outfit.
And I
So-
have to tell you, they're, I mean, still very.
His socks and shoes are still there.
Look at that.
Didn't
Yeah.
Pee Wee Herman have a Beat It character too?
Weird
Pee
Al.
Wee Herman had a doll.
He's
knock it
being-
off.
he's
Oh, I
being
know what you're saying.
naughty again. This is a kid's show.
no, it's not. This
It's the toy
okay.
episode.
So this is not a kid's show. Okay, that's a good point, though.
Like,
You know,
It's
with-
not. This is all for adults now.
you mentioned it, but as a kid, I was into a lot of rock and roll and music,
Yeah.
right? So, but there wasn't a lot of toys.
perfect.
There was the Kiss dolls,
Which
there
are
was
up
the
there,
Kiss
yeah.
We have
dolls
some
of
of
the
those.
70s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then really there wasn't. There was Michael Jackson, and later came New Kids on the Block. But
That's about
there
it.
was never a Prince action
No.
figure.
No.
There was never Guns N' Roses.
No,
or
Right,
anything.
well,
there wasn't.
Now there is.
When
Yeah.
I was 8 years old, I didn't know the difference between idolizing Michael Jackson as like my favorite singer and idolizing Superman as a
Yeah,
superhero. We wanted anything you could have of your favorite characters, icons. So I love that they made toys.
When I was
Mhm.
when I was 7 years old, in 1987, I would have killed for an Ozzy Osbourne action figure, and they just didn't.
They
know
just
what
didn't
to
make
do.
them. No.
I think
So-
McFarlane makes one now.
What are these?
Yeah.
This kind of goes off to other cartoons. We have tons of Disney
Yeah,
stuff,
Land
but
Before
this is
Time.
Land
It
Before
is.
Time.
Land Before
Which
Time.
was
Are these
Don
puppets?
Bluth and not Disney. It was like the other big animation. These are
You
hand
got the big
puppets.
standee in the back.
These are hand puppets, and
Oh, we
these
do?
were from
Still in the box.
Pizza Hut.
Oh.
Pizza Hut and the book club. Pizza Hut started doing
Yeah.
toys. All of the fast food started copying McDonald's.
what?
If you guys
I can't
watched
get through
us
the
a couple
show.
weeks ago, we did a
Oh.
live on a huge McDonald's.
So
toy
we have
lot. So we have
this
these
came out in the
guys.
80s.
Yes.
Well, ours might be part 2 or part 3.
We
It
have
came out
the
in the
we
80s
have the
and-
movie standee in the back.
Still in the box.
Still in the box
We'll have
on
to, we'll have to put
And
pictures up
George
of
the
that.
Jungle.
and George of the Jungle and all of those. They're still sealed in the box,
That's
but the
awesome.
boxes are so huge.
Yeah, that movie was iconic in the 80s and
Mhm.
traumatized all of us. in
Oh,
the
see, that
80s.
was the Dark Crystal for me.
This one too made everybody cry when Littlefoot's mom died. I still can't talk about
What
it.
are these here?
Ninja Turtles again with the
Oh,
whole
okay.
merchandising. It's a trading card set.
You know what's
They
not
made-
here?
They made a thing for everything. What is?
I mean,
not
there's a
here?
lot not here
I know there's
from the
so many
80s,
things I wish we
but
still could've-
ET,
Yeah.
because the ET's figures came out in the 80s. I know, but there are people who love ET's
Yes.
figures, and because every time we get an ET figure or toy or something, it flies
Alf.
out the door.
Alf too.
Alf, I cannot keep in stock
Yeah.
for some reason.
And we
Everybody
mentioned,
wants Alf.
It was LJN, right? The wrestling, the big rubber wrestling
Yeah.
WWF.
Yep.
guys.
Yep.
Yep. Now you won't see any of those until we have our show.
Yes. But I grew up on Andre the Giant,
Uh-huh.
Macho Man, Hulk Hogan.
Is
That was
glass still
my
over there? Oh, they are.
wrestling
Andre
era,
the
and
Giant
then there's a
starts over
whole
there.
new era of wrestling too.
And we have the
toys.
glasses for those. Oh no. But
Junkyard Dog.
there's a lot of different things. So are we missing anything here that you had brought? Oh,
No.
what are these?
So we have some books here in the store as well. This one's vintage character collectibles. So that's going to be, Batman, Superman, Mask.
Mask.
Yes.
Yeah, old Lone
Transformers.
Ranger, Green
Yes.
Hornet.
So
We've got one specific to Star
Of-
Wars, which we
look
didn't
at
even
this.
get into
Yeah.
here because I was. a
oh,
little
Star
young
Wars
for
is a
that.
show itself.
Yeah,
We actually may have a big Star Wars thing
That's
coming
actually
in,
a
and we'll
toy
do.
that I didn't get because I was a little young and I watched the VHSs.
Well,
I
you weren't
wore
even born
out
yet.
The VHSs, but I didn't ever have
Did
Star
you hear
Wars
me?
toys when I was a kid.
When Star Wars came out, you weren't even born yet.
I know.
So we may have a big Star Wars collection coming in at some point soon.
Yes. We'd
And
obviously
we will
be
do
doing
a show
episodes
based
just
solely
for that.
on that
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
if it comes in, right?
For
And
sure.
you mentioned your grandfather buying some of this old stuff. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I remember, like with Star Wars, let's say, by 88, 89 at Toys R Us, you would start to see clearance. Big
Oh, yeah, yeah,
clearance
yeah.
Where you could get
Yes.
for $1.
Oh,
could
yeah.
Get,
Yeah.
these things.
Yep.
And I kick myself every day that I could have bought all
Yeah.
of them.
It's all of what it should have, could have,
And
because
Toy
I
stores
mean,
don't do that anymore.
no.
Once it's not hot, it's off the
Off
shelves and
clearance.
gone. So
Yeah.
you don't get the years. To
they also
say,
tell you how much you can buy.
right. Yes, they have
Mhm.
limits now. So like
Yeah.
before,
Corvettes at 11 and Gratiot back. Had to been in the 70s.
Uh-huh.
And
Can you hear him? Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
remember that.
Kiss dolls
No, I mean,
Yeah.
were clearance, and they were like a buck a
Yeah.
piece, and
Yeah.
there's a wall.
Everything Kiss was all the cassettes, the vinyl, the action you could get for nothing. I mean,
Oh,
literally,
yeah.
Yeah.
You couldn't give them away.
so there are. I mean, Tweety was big in the early '90s, even though he was around a lot then.
yeah, all the Looney Tunes
The
had big
Pac-Man. Check this out.
resurgence.
It's
Yeah.
the Pac-Man bank.
But the video game was big in the 70s and 80s.
I think it was 80.
And the game. And the Pac-Man game. So the Pac-Man came out in the early '80s because I
Okay,
remember
yeah.
doing it.
Yep.
And you have some video games. What was it?
Odyssey 2.
Odyssey 2, which is late '70s, early '90s, or early '80s, up to the '80s. So we have a bunch of that stuff. 38 of them. And I mean, this is crazy. So you go home and you play with this stuff all the time. So she spends her time here when she's like organizing the ponies and the stuff like that. And then she goes home and
Oh yeah,
plays
my worst days at work are when we get in a load of toys and I get to sit on the floor, which is hard to get up from at this age, but I still get to sit on the floor and pick through all their weapons and put them with.
And if she's not
and
doing that,
I'm
she's
not
playing
allowed that.
magic.
Yeah. Or so I get to post like.
So
look what I'm
in other
doing at work
words,
today.
she's still a child.
Yes.
So, which is good because it'll keep you young forever. So we're coming close to the end here. Is there anything here, Steve? Any toys you remember from the 80s, or Nikki, any other things that you want to talk about? Because 80s toys are hot.
Yes.
They're hot, hot, hot. We get Transformers sets in. We had the the deconstructed Transformer, the one where it was in its original box at
Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime. We've gotten those in. They go quick. If you want, Steve can find the cool stuff and people know it. And I swear to God that as soon as we fill the store full of stuff, people smell it because they come running in.
Well, and we do
I
a good
know.
job of posting when something exciting is here. We try
Oh
and let
yeah,
people
all
know.
over the place. And you got to run in or you got to come in and get it right then because it doesn't last.
No,
Make sure you follow on social media.
Yes.
because you guys are
Oh,
great at
absolutely.
putting that stuff up.
I mean, if you're not on Facebook, which a lot of the younger kids are not on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you can even find us on YouTube. But go on our website, you know.
You guys didn't even get into all the 80s candy containers.
Those are 90s, aren't? Oh no, a lot of those are 80s.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll do another show on 80s as well.
Rocketeer.
Yeah, the Rocketeers in there, and these are candy containers from the 80s. But Nikki, thank you for bringing all this stuff in because I know you leave on vacation tomorrow, so you got to put all this stuff back.
Yeah,
you know, when you get home.
And then don't worry, a lot of it will be coming to Time Warp, and you guys can.
Some of the stuff on this table
some
is
of our
available right now, but I'm going to say 75% of it won't be available for at least a week or two.
Yeah.
And then some of it will not be available. The Ghostbuster house, is not ours, so she'll be taking it home. But the rest of the Shira's is not ours.
Correct. That's got to go home for right now.
Shira.
Yeah.
Anyways, but if you have anything you're looking for, please message us. Tell us, because Steve will look for it. I mean, he will. So if you need that rare pony right there,
Yeah.
then we'll keep an eye out for it. We don't make lists or anything. You can message. You can message us, and we can go refer back to the message for the list. But that way we can help you find the toys you grew up with and loved and enjoy them today. We've got a ton of it.
We've got things here that we've forgotten that we have here. So another reason I'm going to do a walkthrough
everything
on Tuesday is I will let you guys see a little closer look at what we have in store right now. As new things come in, like Roberto said, watch our social medias. We definitely
if you're
and previews.
If you're watching us on Facebook, Time Warp LLC is Instagram. If you're watching us on Instagram, it's Time Warp Vintage is Facebook. If you are on TikTok, it's Time Warp LLC. If you're on YouTube, it's Time Warp Vintage or Time Warp or TWL.
Yes.
TWL is that.
We will post all of that.
So you went around and you did some posts. You do the day posts.
Yeah, I do the Did You Know What Day It Is?
And you did one for Father's Day. You did one for Father's Day, which showed the shaving stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And it started an interaction with the customer who was in, and I'm going to read Martha Jackson's response. Indeed, it's a comeback, meaning the wet shave.
Yeah. So the shaving with the brush and the mug and the safety
straight razor or the safety razor.
Yeah, those are really popular for shaving.
Indeed, it is on the comeback. I am a member of a wet shaving community. In fact, I bought a Gillette TTO razor from you guys for about $15 and had it revamped by Razor Emporium out of Arizona. I have since shaved with it, and it is now my everyday razor. Thank you.
We love hearing stories like
Isn't that cool? I love hearing that type of stuff, and I will read them, and I will give you kudos, and thank you for doing that.
Yeah, we like to hear things you've gotten here or things that you've seen that has been part of your collection or that you've been inspired by. Please comment today, like what was your favorite 80s toy? What do you want for?
We may use that as the list to look for.
Yeah, ask us if we've got something currently, because the camera is not seeing half of the toy department right now.
So,
let us know if you want to know if something's here. We'll try and dig it up.
So before we go there, and we're gonna revisit a few of the things we have coming up. But look at these. You see the material that's hanging off from here. Okay, so that is the sheet set, Master of the Universe here, 80s. Over here is Superman, which is 70s. And then we have the entire Superman set because right there is the Masters of the Universe fitted sheet. These are all twins. We have Spider-Man over there as well. So if you have a twin bed, if your kid has a twin bed and you love, I mean, Roberto's going to go buy a twin bed just so that he can have it.
I want her.
Or even if it's their guest bedroom.
I want to buy that.
Put the fun sheets on your guest bedroom, and then when your friends stay over, they're gonna get a surprise when they turn down the duvet.
And you know what? I'm not against, if you don't have a twin bed or you have no need for a twin bed, is turning these into curtains, turning them into
Yes.
pillows, turning them
They
into.
do make great curtains.
Do you know what I mean? And I know that authentic people are going, no, don't do that. But you know what? We have to move with the time sometimes, because twin beds, if you don't have kids, that
if you have a
require a
toy
twin
room
bed.
and like a curtain in that room made out of this would still display it, as opposed to if you don't have a
Exactly.
bed to display on.
Did you have these?
Repurpose.
Did you have
I was
character
probably
sheets?
20 years old by then.
No, but character sheets. They had character sheets back then, didn't they?
Didn't they? I don't know.
No,
I
maybe.
don't remember.
Lone
any.
Ranger, maybe.
Oh, they could have. Lone Ranger would have been the 70s.
They didn't have like Saturday Night Fever sheets.
That's still the 70s. I would have bought those. So we remember we have a new series we're working on called Detroit Icons, and we will be featuring a different icon, Detroit icon, meaning company, that helped to shape Detroit into what it is and where it's taking it in the future. We are starting with the Pewabic pottery factory, which we filmed yesterday. We all had a blast doing that. So keep an eye out, because these things are going to be cool. And Roberto is putting it together, so I know it's going to be cool. And we had a good time doing it, so you guys can watch and see how good of a time we do it.
Question: I did not have character sheets, but now that I think of it, I did get my mom to buy me Budweiser curtains, and I had
Budweiser curtains.
in junior high and high school until they were threadbare. and
That's too
dry.
bad, because if you those today,
Right.
They were like the big label on a can. It wasn't all the little logos. It was just the big logo, like it's a can of beer in your window.
So anyways, I know I'm looking down and I see a lot of people are jumping on, because I'm looking at two different things here. Just know that you can go back and you can watch this. We will have reels of this out.
And we reply later too. If
Yeah.
we don't reply live to
Absolutely.
your comments, we'll go back and check them all
Yep.
and read them.
And we'll have reels of this out coming this weekend. And put your favorite toys down,
Yeah,
what you're
let
looking
us
for,
know.
stuff like that. Give us some interaction. Shows are doing great. So I want to communicate with you guys. What do you guys need? What do you guys want? And we will do our best in getting it for you. Yes.
I was going to say one last thing. You're working on us having a subscriber series.
We do have a subscribe. Oh, yes. We do have a
So
subscriber
another
series.
perk we will start incorporating in that is exclusive snippets of shows and on-site stuff that you will only be able to see as a subscriber.
Not only that,
Early notice for
it is
merchandise.
the subscriber thing. Thank you for bringing that up. The subscriber site is different than our normal Facebook site. It is a paid subscriber view, but two of the main benefits of that is you can send us pictures of things you don't know what they are, and we will do our best in identifying them. And also, we will give you a range of value on the item. Now, that is not you coming in and bringing it to us to look at. That is you posting a picture, and one of our specialists, Steve or Nikki, will give you not only a clear definition of what the item is, but a range, not an exact, but a range of value on that.
Yeah, we can help with
But
some of the background
within
and
reason.
knowledge.
Yeah, within
Yeah.
reason.
We're not gonna do 500 for one.
Yeah, if you're setting up a garage sale, we may have to have levels.
It may be limited to one a day a week.
Yeah.
So, but this is something that is really cool, and a lot more benefits besides identification and value. Snippets that you won't see before, exclusive content, and invites to appear on the show without payment, meaning that you get it for free. So, anyways, I'm excited. We have a lot of exciting stuff coming
And
up.
there'll be more about that later. It's just
Yeah.
a new thing, and I kind of wanted to tie it in.
And
with...
one of the reasons she's excited about it is because she's spearheading it. With the help of Steve, of course, at the beginning. And then you will be on vacation from time, so we will take it over then. And I think that's about it. What else do we have? Nothing? Follow us on whichever social media you have.
Share, invite your friends.
Yep.